What's going on, everybody? It's been a long time since I've done a video, so maybe 2 years now, probably. The last real video I posted was the 2002. Done a couple projects since then. Haven't recorded any of it. Well, I recorded a little bit, thinking I was gonna make a video, and then I just didn't. So yeah, built a E36 for the same guy that owns the 2002 with a supercharger on it. A Hyde Motorworks kit with a root style GT500 blower. What a piece of crap. That car still needs finished, but it runs and drives when I left here. Kind of needs tuned, and the car still needs a bunch of other things. So yeah, I put an LS3 in my 1 Series, which I've since sold. The guy that drives it really likes it. I think he's still trying to sell it though. Wife, baby, new house, you know, all those things. So yeah, if you don't know me personally or follow me on Instagram, I got a new shop. This has been a long time coming. I didn't actually think I was ever going to do it. But I had a 36 by 40 pole building built. I'll do a run through on it at some point. If you want like detailed info, maybe I'll do like a whole video on it. But yeah, 2 overhead doors, lights, spray foam, mini split, water. I have gas, and eventually want to do a radiant tube heater, and then the most important thing, the 2-post lift. Super stoked about that. So anyway, I've been using it for the last few months like crazy. This hot steaming pile of garbage has been on it for the last 6 weeks or so. That's what I'm recording. This video is kind of backwards. I've recorded some footage already because, as you can see, it's missing some parts. All that plus there's loads of stuff over there. Yeah. So anyway, the videos aren't like in depth. They're not like me really showing you, recording stuff, because I'm just not back to that yet, or maybe I'll never be. I don't know. I just want to show kind of the progress of what I'm doing with this car. So I picked it up a year ago. My brother-in-law's shop, the customer had abandoned it because I had a broken brake line, and they told him that it was kind of crusty underneath, and it is. It's from Akron. I bought it from the original owner that bought it brand new in 98.
I forgot to mention I paid $2,000 for this car.
It was just too nice. Everybody's like, oh, you should just part it out. Just part it out. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'll do a walk around here in a second, but it's 130-ish thousand miles, 98 4-door sedan, automatic, black interior. The interior is nice. Like, there's one little spot on the driver's seat that's worn where I think that metal rod comes through or whatever. So I think at some point it got hit, because I think it's had a hood and a fender and maybe a door. I found RDOT stickers. I think at that point the whole car had got resprayed, because like there's not a rock chip on this thing. So I think that was fairly recent. The downside being is I don't think they prepped the underside of the hood, because all the little, I've since touched it up, but as you can see, sorry, I know my camera skills are terrible. The rust bubbling through right here, but that's really the only spot on the exterior body that's kind of nasty. They didn't prep, let's see if I can get you upside down here. They didn't prep the edge of the hood very well, so I'm going to have to go through, clean that up. The bottom of the right rear door is kind of crappy, but not really. It just looks like the back side of the hood. It just needs, let me turn around. It just needs, I mean, I kind of went through and touched it up a little. I don't know whether I'm gonna maybe tape line it, sand it down, and spray it when I spray the silver underneath the plastic rocker. The rockers are fine. This is just where I clean the rust spots up. So the plastic rocker, it's already painted. I'll go back over all this. So anyway, yeah. So like when I washed it up, like it cleaned up super nice. I'm like, man, I can't break this car out. Like it's too nice. There's one little tiny spot right there that I touched up, but yeah, like it has a full Alpine audio system in it. Like, I don't know. I've always, or I've not always, I kind of more recently kind of fell in love with the E36 sedan. So I wish it didn't have a spoiler on it. I know a lot of people probably think this is nice. I hate it. So at some point, whenever I fix the hood, if I fix the hood right there, maybe I'll remove the spoiler, weld the holes over, and have it sprayed at the same time. So anyway, I just wanted to show you guys what was going on. Like I say, I have a couple videos, or quite a few recordings for what's going on here. So you'll see those hopefully coming up if I can edit this together. So if you want to see more of this content, what you see coming up, or if you want it to be more in depth, I guess maybe I'll go through that. So yeah, anyway, that's what's going on. So if you're watching this, I appreciate it. And like I say, leave a comment on if you want to see anything, or if you're like, Derek, you suck. And then I won't do it because it's time consuming and I'm not comfortable doing it, and it's not easy. So I'll just go back to posting random things on my Instagram story and whatever else. So anyway, have a good day. Wanted to share what the underside of this E36 that I bought looks like. It's pretty nice from the top, but underneath it's been a northeastern Ohio car its whole life. So it needs some work. The subframe is pretty crusty, diff is crusty. I think what I'm going to do, because it needs subframe bushings anyway, is just buy a nice used subframe. I found one on eBay that looks like the bushings are good and it's, you know, fairly inexpensive. So I think I'm going to go that route. The exhaust is going to need replaced, at least the catback, because this is cracked and corroded. I found new fuel tank straps, so I'm going to do that. This is one of the reasons that the car got abandoned, is the brake lines and the fuel lines are leaking, so I got new ones of those. This area here is pretty bad on the floor, but I think it can be cleaned up. You can see where all the seams are, is where the seam sealers start to come back, or you know, where the corrosion is starting to come through. So, but there's really no holes anywhere. This, you know, is kind of bad, so I'm gonna try to get that cleaned up. The worst spots, as I think most of these, you can't see it under the jack pad on this one, but it's a little corroded. This one's pretty corroded. The worst are the fronts. This one you can see where it's kind of rotted out. Don't know exactly what I'm going to do there with that one. This is the worst. You can see the hole here. So I think maybe I'll cut this back, try to make a patch panel or something. There's some corrosion between the fender and the body as well. But I mean, other than that, like, it's not terrible. I can't justify throwing the car away, so, or parting the car out, I guess. The front subframe's got some corrosion on it, but really nothing too terrible. Everything else on the front end, I mean, it needs struts and whatnot, but I think the oil pan, valve cover is leaking on this thing. Power steering lines are all leaking. But yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to give an update or, you know, have a video of what's going on with the underside. I took the rocker covers off so that I can clean them up. This side's not too bad. It's got a little corrosion in some of the holes popping through. This is more of this corrosion here. The passenger side is worse. A lot of these holes, this one here is kind of bad. And these, where the corrosion's starting, it's working its way up past where the plastic rocker would be. So I'm gonna knock that down, try to get those cleaned up, see what I can do from there. So anyway, that's what I got going on. A little update to follow up the earlier footage I took before I had really done anything with this car. You'll see there's been some progress, some cutting, lots of grinding, cleaning, lots going on. So if you remember, there was a pretty bad spot here. What ended up happening, the brake line that runs up and over here where it was leaked all the way down and rotted out this portion of the floor. So I cut this out. This was the least that I could cut out. My main worry was the fuel tank straps. There's one here, and those were just too weak, so I ended up cutting that out. The other areas that I cut, again, you're not gonna be able to see it, but I've cut this out. And I've made patch panels as well. I'm gonna need a smaller panel on the rear lift pads. Other than that, like I went through and I cleaned up, man, as many of the areas as I could, but without removing too much. And then came back through and used a 2K rust prohibitive primer on all the areas that were ground down, and brought them up, brought the primer up the areas that cleaned up here. So it's not perfect, but I think it's going to do well for what I've got in the car. So, and then this area here was pretty bad. This actually had to get cut out, and I made a patch panel here as well. There's a lip that sits right here for the fender. You can see these two areas. So I made patch panel for that. I'll show you in a second. This is the patch panel that's on the back of the floor. These are the two mounts for the fuel tank straps, and this is the panel that I made. I just took some more of this, bent this up, took a couple bolts, cut them down, welded them here, then welded them onto this panel. So I think that'll work for this. Yeah. This doesn't have any bends in it like the factory panel had a couple ridges in it, but this panel is about twice as thick as the factory panel, so I think there's plenty of rigidity there. So worst case, if I feel it's not strong enough, I'll hang on these a little bit once I get it welded up in there, and if I feel like I need to, I'll add some bracing or something to that. So I know it's dark over here, but these are the patch panels that I made for the lift pad supports, and then this is the patch piece that I made for in front of or behind the right front wheel there. I'll still have to probably weld a couple nuts to that for the fender to bolt to, but other than that, I will update once I get those welded in. The rear subframe is the only thing I haven't really taken out of the car yet. I wanted to try to get some progress on the front here before I, took all this down. So this will come down. I got another subframe. I got new arms, shocks. So what I think I'll do is maybe take the knuckles and the arms, the diff, maybe take them somewhere and get them sandblasted or media blasted of some sort. So I will update once we make some more progress here. This is the front lift pad that I cut out. The underside is solid. It was just the rocker that's bad. This is the repair patch panel that I made for it. So I'm going to weld that in real quick. And I got one just like it to do for the other side, and then we'll move on to the back. That's all welded in and ground down. Doing this isn't any fun, welding up, grinding up. But we're getting there, so I got another one to do. Working on the left rear lift pad, I was able to make a smaller repair on this. Got it cut out, got the new one, getting it tacked in. I'll fully weld it. When I was welding the patch panel, I found a weak spot in the metal, so I ground it out, so I'll make a little patch panel for that. Fun stuff. Look at this beauty. Got my patch panel welded in. Struggled with getting it welded in just because the material in here was really thin and I couldn't get it's super clean, so it bubbled around a little bit, but it's gonna be fine. It's plenty strong for my fuel tank strap, so I got it ground down. I'm gonna prime it and then I'm gonna seam seal it, and it'll be fine for as long as I'm gonna be alive. So anyway, that's what's going on. Got this girl, crusty girl, unbolted and out. Got this new little lift table from Harbor Freight. It works good, other than the stupid hand doesn't like flip down like some of them I've seen. It's either up or off. So anyway, it works. We'll get this thing pulled apart and see what pieces I can use and what pieces have to be replaced. I got new lower arms, the used subframe, new shocks, springs, rotors. I just have to make a decision on calipers, axles, upper control arms, and yeah, knuckles, I guess. So I'm sure those will be reused. Hopefully I can get the axles out. I got myself in a real mess with this nonsense. I've never worked on anything this rusty before. I got a seized wheel speed sensor. I got a seized emergency brake cable. The axle was seized. I got it pressed out. So yeah, I got all kinds of good stuff. My wife's out here to make sure I don't hurt myself, so that's nice. I got a stud I'm gonna have to weld a nut onto. Try to get that out. And then I can do it all again on the other side. After I figure out how to get the hub off, probably to put new bearing in it. Need a new backing plate because the e-brake shoe pins pulled right through. This is what's left of the emergency brake pads. So I think this was at the bottom of the ocean for a little while. Spent the last little bit pulling the hub and the bearing out of the rear trailing arm. I'm not sure how you're supposed to pull this, but I saw a guy that put a bearing splitter between the hub and the bearing and then used the lug bolts to push the hub off, and that seemed to work okay. I did mar up the surface a little bit because it ends up all wonky, so not an ideal way to do it, but that's how I did it. And then I bought a cheap front-wheel drive press kit or whatever off Amazon for $40-some, and got the bearing pulled out. So I am going to figure out what I need to do to press out the trailing arm bushing and then the upper and lower ball joints. So that's where we're at. I got another side to do yet, and go from there. I decided, since I have to send all the rear end stuff out to get blasted, that I might as well go ahead and pull the front subframe and get these cut down so I can hopefully try to reuse those with the conies. I don't know. The subframe in the front was a lot better than in the rear, but everything was still pretty gross. Rear bushing seemed to be okay. I did get, I got tie rod ends
Saber links. Like I say, I got all, I think I showed you, all the suspension stuff. But I'll send the knuckles, probably the calipers, subframe. Yeah, I found this guy came off with the subframe, so I guess I'll order some motor mounts. Aside from that, I guess it's a good time to probably do an oil pan gasket while it's apart. So the subframe bolts didn't really want to come out very easily. If you see, got a little bit of material on the end, but I think I'll clean those up. Maybe I'll turn one into a tap or see if I have a tap and try to clean the threads up a little bit. It's just at the very top, so not super concerned, but I was for a minute when I got hard with the impact. So anyway, we're coming along. More disassembly before reassembly. I need to get this thing going back together, not coming more apart, but might as well do it now. So I bought conies, so I need to cut these up so I can do inserts, get these cleaned up, but as you can see, I don't think there was any shocking happening with these. This is the first one that I cut out. It really wasn't doing anything either. I drilled a hole in the bottom to release the pressure, but there wasn't any pressure, so just the junk that came out. This is the first one. This is my pile of rusty parts I'm going to try to get blasted. I got everything on the knuckles tore apart, except I don't have a 46mm nut for the axle stub, or hub stud, spindle nut, whatever you want to call it. So I got one of those coming so that I can remove that, pull the bearing off, try to get the ABS sensor out. I'm sure it's going to have to be replaced because I'll destroy it getting it out, but that's what we got going on. I may be a little bit dirty. Spent the last 2 hours cleaning up all this nonsense. This is what came off the car. What a mess, huh? I think pretty well cleaned up. I got these cleaned up as best as I can, and all the little spots where the seam seal was cracking and the rust was poking through. The only spot I have yet to repair is the battery vent hole. Other than that, I think the rust repair is pretty close to being done. I'm going to coat all this with the rust, whatever you want to call it, prime it, re-seam seal it like I did with all this. So anyway.